Hey guys, this is Colby. Today I'm going to show you how to make the Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet inside Blender with an image reference. So let's get started. So this is going to be a multi-part series, and today I'm just going to show how to make this section of the helmets, since it's actually pretty complex. The Phase 2 helmet from Star Wars is pretty detailed. It's a lot more detailed than the first helmet, the Phase 1 helmet. I'd say this is a little bit more advanced. So starting off, I'm going to grab my image reference offline, or off the internet. So press Shift-A, image reference, and select wherever you downloaded your image. So I'm going to be using an image reference that I got from galacticarmory.net. So galacticarmory.net is basically a website that shows 3D prints, and they sell them online for a good price. But they also show your files that you can use for pretty much anything. It doesn't have to be for 3D printing. You can use the file for games or anything really inside Blender or other game engines, I'd say. And they're very well optimized, and I've been using them quite a bit. I think a lot of their stuff on here is pretty cool. And that's what I'm going to be using from image reference. It's basically just a front, side, and back view of each helmet for the Phase 2 helmet. So let's get started. So once you have your image references downloaded, go ahead and go into Blender. I'm going to go into front view, press Shift-A, image reference, and select the front one. Go press 3 on your numpad, image reference again, and press side view. And one again for the back. So press 1 on your numpad and then 9 to switch to back view right here. And Shift-A reference again and set back. So the front and back view are clipping through each other for the moments. You can do that, kind of fix that just by moving one. And I'm going to hide the back view for now because we don't need it. Just press H to hide. And select your side view reference, move it on the X-axis. And maybe like out of the way of the front. Go right here. It's a good position. So one way to essentially make your image references match their size is to create a plane and move it to a point where there's like a straight line. So pretty much the top of the visor right here. Move it to like right here. And try to match it up to the point on the second image reference, the side view. And make sure any adjustments that I need to. And you can also create another plane for the bottom of the helmets, right about here. And so here the side view is actually kind of clipping through the bottom plane a little bit. So let's move it up a tad bit. But now it's also kind of moving over this one, so that means that we need to scale it down a tad bit. So basically what you want to do is just match both side view and front view. Any points that pretty much overlap, you want them to cross on this plane. Or you don't want them to cross through the plane, but to basically touch it just lightly. So once you have your image references matched up, go ahead and hide your planes that you created. Just to get them out of the way for the moments. We can use them later. So go ahead and add a plane right down the middle. Go into edit mode. Add an edge loop down the middle. So press Ctrl R. Delete one face. And then add a mirror modifier once you're in object mode. And turn on clipping. Let's move this to right about this point here. And let's go to side view and match it to the reference. So it should be all the way over here. Right about there. That's good. So from this point, we're ready to start modeling. And I'll go ahead and show how to do some of the more confusing areas. So I'd say this visor is kind of confusing because it basically curves quite a bit. And there's a lot of straight sections that sort of like come with it. So I'll show how to do that. And then after that, I'll do a time lapse and show the rest of the model, since it's a pretty long process. So let's grab this edge here and go to side view. And let's extrude back to this point here, right where it starts to curve, not before it, or not too far in, but just like right where it curves, the beginning of the curve. Swing this down a tad bit. Let's just extrude around this corner here. Just make sure to always match it to your reference. So each face that you place, I'd recommend go ahead and match it to your reference immediately rather than waiting, Because if you create like a bunch of edges and you don't know where they're supposed to go, like beforehand, it'll kind of be confusing and it'll be too much to work with. So just make sure you do it as you go on. So extrude this way. Go to front view again. Just make sure it meshes the reference. Just keep extruding around this section here. Do the same you did for the other section. So extrude maybe like 2 faces for this corner here because it's very curved. Make sure to go to the side view and match it to your reference. Let's create one more. Just press E to extrude and just rotate and scale down the face, or the edge, I mean. You can do this with vertices if you want, but I'd rather just do edges. And I tweak the vertices if I feel like I need to. Okay, so for this little section right here, I'm going to basically create like a split. So it's extruded to that point, right about here. And then we're going to go into vertice mode and create a face. Just 4 vertices. Just link them all together. So hold select these 2, press F to fill. And let's go into edge mode and select these 2 edges and press F to fill again. And let's go to our reference, or side view, and let's match it to our reference. Should pretty much be like right here. So let's add a little edge loop right here. Control R, merge these 2 vertices. Press M to merge at last. Okay, so for this section here, let's fill. So add an edge loop right here. Let's fill these faces right there. So select the 2 and press F to fill. And go out of like side and front view and just kind of go from all angles and try to make sure that this is like a smooth section. Make sure that this face right here doesn't like twist. And just make it as clean as you can. So go ahead and start filling in these faces in this section here. I've already started doing that, but basically all I'm doing is just extruding. I just extruded this face here to this point and to that, and I just filled in this face right here. I created an edge loop here and just filled in. Okay, so this is a pretty difficult section here, but I'd say it's really not that hard to do. You can do it in a couple seconds. So basically you want to avoid having any triangles when you're merging all your vertices together, your faces. So let's create some edge loops. Fill in these two faces. And go ahead and fill in this too. So this is technically a quad, even though it looks kind of like a triangle. But basically it has 4 vertices, which is good. And it looks pretty clean from the side. So I'm pretty happy with it. So for this section here, this like entire hole in the helmets, let's just select all these edges. Anything that's like basically facing kind of downward a bit, pointing down, but not sideways, like this. These are 2 sideways, but this one's like decent enough. Let's extrude to basically this point. Match your reference. So I'd say I could create an extra edge loop right here for this wall, like right here. So that way we can actually match this angle. Just move these to the side. And smooth down a bit. So go ahead and drag your edges to the side. Match them to your reference. So go to front view and just kind of move all these on the x-axis. Make this a nice curved area. And go to wireframe mode and just kind of tweak some of these vertices. And let's keep extruding down. So move these over here. Just match them to your reference. Alright, so for this section here, it's a bit curved. And it's kind of hard to tell, but from the reference, even though it covers the reference and it seems like it matches, it's actually kind of not at the right like curve. So this section is supposed to be pretty round. So I'm gonna grab all these faces, press C to select all of them. Let's use the smooth tool and just smooth it out a bit. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. If you have any questions, just leave a comment down below. I'll try to answer them. And if you could please consider donating to my Patreon and subscribing to my channel. It'd really help out my channel quite a bit, and I could be able to get to 1,000 subscribers, but also do this more full time and more often. But anyways, I hope you all guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time.